Alright guys, I almost didn't make this because so many of you haven't been watching them, but a couple of you asked. So here we go. Tickets to a movie night cost $8 for adults and $5 for children. If a group of friends bought 18 tickets for $105, how many adult and children tickets were purchased? So remember, adults are $8, children are $5. So I'm going to write A plus C, add them together to represent the total tickets sold, which was 18. And I'm going to do 8A for how much they spent on adults, and 5C totaling, excuse me, every time I make a video I sneeze, totaling 105. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and solve. So I'm going to choose to cancel out the A, which means I'm going to multiply this entire top equation by -8. So I'm going to have a new equation, negative 8A minus 8C equals negative 144. Okay, and I'm simply just going to bring this equation down. So I'm going to have positive 8A plus 5C equals 105. Okay, so these are going to cancel out, which was my whole goal. I'm going to end up with negative 3C equals negative 39, because what I did is I just added these two equations together. And then I'll divide by -3 and divide by -3 and get C equals 13. Alright, so 13 tickets. And then for adult tickets, I know that it is A plus 13 equals 18. So to solve, I'm going to subtract 13 and subtract 13. And the number of adult tickets would be 5. Moving right along, the SCH Math Club goes on a field trip. So, a total of 164 students went on a trip. Some students went in a van that holds 7 students each, and others rode in a small bus that holds 12 students. If the math club used a total of 17 vehicles, how many vans V and buses B did the math club take? So write a system of equations for the above scenario. I'm going to do V plus B equals 17. That's how many total vehicles they took. And then I'm going to use 7V plus 12B, which would equal the total amount of students, 164. So, now we're going to solve for it. I am going to multiply this top equation by -7. So, I'm going to just distribute it and write it down here. Negative 7V minus 7B, as in bus, equals negative 119. Okay, now I'm writing this down here. Oops, this equation. So positive 7B plus 12B equals 164. I'm going to add these two equations together. These cancel out. I'm left with 5B equals 45. And then I'll divide by 5 and divide by 5 and get B equals 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see that it's 9 plus V equals 17. I'm going to subtract 9 and subtract 9 and get V equals, not 18, but 8. Alright, more down along here. A plant is 7 centimeters tall, so it's 7 centimeters tall and growing at a rate of 6 centimeters per month. Another plant is already 31 centimeters, but only growing at a rate of 4 centimeters per month. After how many months, M, will the plants be the same height? Same height, meaning equal. Okay, so write an equation to determine when the plants will be the same height. All right, we're going to set them equal to each other. So we know that initially that first plant is 7 centimeters tall, and it's growing, so plus 6 centimeters per month. We know that the other plant is 31 centimeters tall and is growing, so getting taller, at a rate of 4 centimeters per month. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and solve this now. After how many months will the plants be the same height? So, I'm going to get my m's on one side, so I'm going to just rewrite this. 7 plus 6m equals 31 plus 4m. And I'm going to subtract 4m. Remember, what I do to one side I have to do to the other, so minus 4m. These cancel. And I'm left with 7 plus 2m equals 31. Well, I've got to subtract 7 and subtract 7. And I'm left with hold on. I did something wrong on my answer key, so minus 7, 1 would be 30, take away 6 would be 24, divide by 2, divide by 2. They would be the same after 12 months, or 1 year. Okay, next page. So Chris is wisely saving for his future and puts $250 into his savings account. So it just plops in $250. He deposits $75 per month. Kira decides that she also wants to save money. She puts $1,200 into a savings account and deposits $25 per month. So let's try to get that. After how many months, M, will they have the same amount? Same amount, again, equal. So we're going to look at Chris's first. We're going to do $250 plus $75M. All right. So $250 plus $75M. All right. Next up is Kira. She was Moneybags McGee and deposited $1,200. And she doesn't have the budget for $75 a month, so she's only putting in $25 a month. So we're setting them equal because we want to see when they'll have the same amount. So I'm going to rewrite it. $250 plus $75M equals $1,200 plus $25M. Okay, so I'm going to subtract $250 minus $250. These are going to cancel. I'll have $75M equals $950 plus $25M. And now I need to subtract $25M and subtract $25M. And I'm going to be left with 50M equals $950. And then I'll divide by 50. And divide by 50 and get M equals 19. So it's going to be a while, but eventually they're going to break even. And then Chris will end up making more. After 19 months, Chris will end up making more because he is depositing more. All right, here we go. Daniel had $25 to spend in the fair. If the admission to the fair is $4, so just to get in before you do anything is $4, and the rides cost $150 each, what is the most amount of rides Daniel can go on? He only has $25. So 25, whatever he spends has to be less than or equal to 25. he pays $4 flat to get in, and he's going to ride. We're not sure how many rides, but each of them is $1.50. Okay, so I'm going to subtract this 4 minus 4 minus 4. I'm going to have 21 is less than or equal to 1.5r. I'll divide by 1.5 and divide by 1.5, and I will get 14 is less than or equal to, oops, did I do that wrong? Wait. Hold on 1 second. I had another error on my hand. Okay, so he has to, 14, all right, is the amount of rides he can go on. It has to be less than or equal to R. Oh, sorry. R has to be less than or equal to 14, right? He can't go on any more rides than 14. So the number of rides is 14. Blah! Leslie is selling cookies at a bake sale. She invests $60 on supplies. And cookie dough will sell in cookie dough. She will sell each cookie for $2. And she would like to make a profit of more than $70. How many cookies C does she need to sell? All right, well, she wants to make more than $70. So let's think whatever she makes over here has to be greater than 70. She spends a flat rate of $60, and we want to figure out how many cookies she needs to sell to make more than 70. So each cookie is $2. C represents how many cookies. We're going to figure that out. So I'm going to subtract 60 from both sides. I'm going to have 2C is greater than 10. I got the 10 by doing 70 minus 60. And I'm going to divide by 2 and divide by 2 and get C is greater than 5. Okay. Next up, I'm going to use purple for this line. So I'm going to start, whoops, purple for this top line. I'm going to start at -3. I'm going to plot that point, and my slope is positive, so I'm going to go up 3 and over 5. I'm going to graph a straight line to the best of my ability because I am not the world's best grapher. And for my next line, I'm going to use pink, and it's a +4, and my slope from that point would be up 2 over 1. And I'll go down 2 over 1. All right, and this is why graphing is not my favorite, because it's really hard to tell what that point is. See, I graphed that original line wrong. But your answer, if you graph it correctly, should be -5, -6. Which Mrs. Black's lines got a little messy because she should have graphed more points. Graph 5 points each line. If you're going to solve, graph with more points. All right, moving along to number 8. Same idea. It wants you to solve by graphing, so I'm going to switch to pink for my top line since it's in my hand, so this line will be pink. -3, and I'm going to graph a few points this time. So up 4 over 1, my slope is 4 over 1, right? Up 4 over 1, I'll even go down 4 over 1. And I don't have this, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have the straightest of edges, but I'll do my best to draw a straight line. All right, my next one, I need to rearrange it. So I want to get this y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 3x and subtract 3x. And then I will end up with y equals negative 3x, right? Plus 4. Well, the x can't be combined with the constant, right? They're not like terms. So I still get to start with my y-intercept, which is 4. And then it's a negative slope, so I'm going to go down 3 over 1. Ooh, I love when I nail get this other point. And then I can instantly see, oh gosh, yay, my answer is 1, 1. All right, moving right along. I can go ahead and graph this line first. This next line I'm going to need to manipulate. But here I'm going to have negative 1. And I'm going to go up 1 over 3. Up 1 over 3. And again, to the best of my ability. Okay, for this line, I got to move this 6 over because I've got to get y alone, right? So these cancel out. I'm left with 3y equals x plus 6. Now I'll divide by 3, and divide by 3, and divide by 3. I'll be left with y equals 1 over 3x, right? Because technically there's a 1 right there. And then plus 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So here's my 2, my y-intercept. And I'm going to go up 1 over 3, down 1 over 3. What's going to happen is I'm going to have 2 parallel lines. Notice they had the same slope. Ooh, that's a big indicator. So parallel lines, no solution. Okay, this time solve the system by substitution. So what I'm going to do is I know that y is equal to 5x minus 27. So where that y is right there, I'm going to go ahead and insert it into the equation. So what that's going to look like is it's going to be 2x plus 3 parentheses 5x minus 27 equals 4. So the 2x of this top equation stays the same. And then it's 3, plug in my y value, which is 5x minus 27, equals 4. Now I need to distribute here. So I'm going to have 2x plus 15x minus 81 equals 4. I'll go ahead and I'll combine my like terms. Oops, don't know why I moved it from a 2 to a 3. I'll have 17x minus 81 equals 4. So I'll add 81 and add 81. And I'll end up with 17x equals 85 and x equals 5. So I now know that my x is equal to 5. Now I need to solve for my y. So to solve for my y, I'm just going to plug it in. Y equals, solving for y right now, 5 times my x, which was 5, minus 27. 25 minus 27, y equals negative 2. Hooray! Sorry guys, it's going to be a long study guide video. Okay, elimination. I'm going to manipulate this top equation. I'm going to multiply it by negative 3. So, I'm going to now have negative 3x plus, right, because it's going to each of these terms, so negative 3 times negative 3 plus 9y equals positive 39. And now I am going to combine these two equations. So I'm going to add these two together. and I'm going to end up with 16y equals 64. I'll divide and get y equals 4. So I now know that my y is equal to 4. I need to figure out what my x is. And it's totally up to you. You can plug it into your top equation or your bottom. I'm just going to plug it into my top equation. So I'm going to do x minus 3, my y was equal to 4, equals negative 13, right? So I'm plugging it in. Y minus 12 equals negative 13. I'm going to add 12 and add 12 and get x equals negative 1. Alright guys, we're almost there. Ooh. I apologize for how long this video is going to be. Okay, so solve using any method. You'll notice they give you a graph if you're more comfortable graphing. Me personally, I'm more comfortable using elimination. So I'm going to choose to eliminate my y's. And in order to do that, I'm going to multiply my top equation by a positive 3. So I'm going to end up with negative 9x minus 6y equals negative 18. So I distribute it to all of these terms. And now I'm going to combine these two equations. All right, well 7x and negative 9x is negative 2x. These cancel out, which is exactly what I wanted, and I'm left with a positive 8. A positive 26 and negative 18 is a positive 8. So I'm going to divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, and I'm going to get x equals negative 4. That's my x value. Now I need to find my y. So I can plug it into whichever equation I want. I'm just going to use the top one. So I'm going to just going to draw a line so I know that it's a separate problem now. So negative 3 times my x, which I now know is negative 4, minus 2y equals negative 6. Okay, so positive 12. I'm going to subtract 12 and subtract 12 and get negative 2y equals negative 18. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, y equals 9. Moving right along, solve the system using any method. Write your answer as an ordered pair. Alright, so I'm going to just get rid of this bottom equation. Since I keep doing the top one, I'll do the bottom. I'm going to multiply, actually no, I'm going to go ahead and manipulate the top one. It just seems easier. So I'm going to multiply everything by negative 1. Which means I'm going to have negative x minus 4y equals negative 19. Alright, these cancel out. I'm left with negative 6y equals negative 18. Divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6, and get y equals 3. Okay, and now I'm just going to plug it into any equation. I guess I'll do the bottom equation. So I'm going to do x minus 2 times 3 equals 1. X minus 6 equals 1, plus 6, x equals 7. Whew, and another one. Okay, so let's manipulate this. Let's go here. Let's multiply this top equation by 2, which is going to give me negative 8x. Ooh, those will cancel out. That's great. And then I'm going to get positive 6y, equals negative 12. Well, these would cancel out, right? Positive 8x and a negative 8x. and these would cancel out, a negative 6y and a positive 6y. That means there would be no solution. You wouldn't be able to have an answer for that. Okay. Just for time's sake purposes, since these are more of the same problem, I'm going to give you the answer here, and I want you to try it yourself and check. Here's the answer, but try this one yourself. All right, for this one, we're going to use substitution, right? It's already y equals something. So I'm going to do 2x plus 5 parentheses negative 7x minus 8, right? I'm taking the y right here and plugging it in right there, equals negative 7. So I'm going to have 2x plus negative 35x minus 40 equals negative 7. All right, well, I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to get negative 33x. Then I'm going to add 40 and add 40. And I'm going to get positive 33. I'm going to divide by negative 33 and divide by negative 33 and get x is equal to 1. Okay, I'm going to plug this in to get my y. So y is going to be equal to 7 times 1 minus 8. 7 minus 8. Y is going to be equal to negative 1. All right, let's determine if this point right here is a solution. So remember, this is our x, this is our y. We're going to plug it in. So for this one, we're going to go negative 9 minus 3 times 5, right, equals negative 24. So negative 9 minus 15 equals negative 24. Well, whoops. Negative 24 is equal to negative 24, so that checks out. Let's make sure it checks with the other equation. So now I'm going to do 5 times negative 9, all right, so 5 times the negative 9, plus 8 times my y, which is 5, equals negative 5. So this is going to be negative 45 plus 40 equals negative 5. Well, when these simplify out, it works. So yes, this is a solution. All right, let's graph. We have this top line, which I'm going to use the pink pen. So negative 4. Okie doke. And then from here, I see it's a positive slope, so I'm going to go up 1 over 2. I'll do it again. Wait. Up 1, 2. I'll go down 1 over 2. And then I'm going to make it a dashed line, which I'm much better at doing dashed lines than I am actual straight lines. And try to always draw your lines off the graph. Okay, I'm going to use 0 as my test point, so I'm going to think of it as 0 is greater than negative 4, right? Because if I replace this with a 0, and this becomes 0. Is 0 greater than negative 4? Yes, it is. So I'm going to go ahead and shade above because 0 made it true. Right, next one I'm going to graph is positive 6. It's a negative slope, so I'm going to go down 3 over 4. And it's a solid line. So just going to connect those points. And again, I'm going to replace this with a 0. So is 0 less than or equal to 6? Yes, it is. So I'm going to shade again towards the 0. And then hopefully you see that this area right here is where they overlap. So I can pick any solution. I can use the solution 0, 0, it's in the right place. And I could just pick this point right here, which is -3, +2. Those would both work for a solution. And that's the end. We made it. Good luck tomorrow, guys, or on your test, whenever you do see you. Good luck.